Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I simply give observations from a conservative point of view. That's what I do on the show. I appreciate my listeners. Thank you very much. And I have some news for you all. I'm doing all I can to grow this show. So I'm now on not only Anchor, now I'm on iHeartMedia. I'm on Amazon Music and Audible. And I will plug in the different platforms as I go along in the process of this. So there you go. And also, I am very thankful for your viewership. And if you like this show and you like the content, please feel free to share my content. And it's greatly appreciated. Thank you again. Thank you so much for listening. All right. So today's topic is education. Now, for me, education is shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all thing. It's unfortunate that kind of melds into the public education system, because that's the perspective that I'm speaking on, because I grew up in the 90s and I went to public school. And from my point of view, it was just this one, again, like I was saying, it was this one size fit all thing. And I think it's important to understand that your children learn at different paces, and children are just different, just like personalities. People have different personalities. You just have to understand that to be able to connect with them. And I think that's very important, to have that kind of perspective when you're teaching. Now, I'm not saying all teachers have that kind of particular format, but it was just unfortunate that thing kind of railed down in the public education system. And I remember this amazing teacher. Shout out to Miss Mayberry. When I was 6 years old, she simply told my mom. She said, when she said my mom was really frustrated with trying to get me to learn it and everything when I was 6. And she was doing all these tapes. She was trying to just really try to get me through the hump of understanding and taking education seriously. Miss Mayberry simply told her, give her time. She'll learn when she'll take it serious. She'll absorb it. She'll learn when she's ready. And that's just very profound. And that just stuck with me. And it is very appreciative, because she understood that it's important to appreciate the child, to understand the child, and not to pressure the child into something that into ways that they don't understand, to try and to get them to appreciate learning. Because I think that if you go that route, you tend to get into the unfortunate reality of never wanting to take education seriously, never knowing the pleasure and the beauty and the just satisfaction of knowing that ongoing knowledge and continual knowledge is a great thing. And I just can't thank her enough for that. And and that rang true because when I started the fifth grade, I was about 10, 11 at the time when I started the fifth grade. I started saying, I want to learn more. Then I want to explore. I want to understand, particularly with science and reading and math, and I just want to know more. And that it helped shape my understanding, and I'm just so grateful for that. So, and then also on top of that, let's move on to standardized testing. So, from my particular point of view with standardized testing, when I was going through elementary school to middle school to high school. Now, I think standardized testing is a very important concept. And really good when you delve into the whole aspects of testing people's skill, knowing where they would, particularly career aptitude, and particularly scholastic aptitude, when it comes to the SATs and prepping for that and understanding, is college really for this person? If not, well, maybe a trade is more up their alley or something else. I think it's great in that aspect. But but when it comes down to the whole aspect of this is just our lesson plan and our format, we just want you to just standardize yourself all the time. Test, and not really exploring different lesson plans as far as learning different things, understanding different things as far as for instance, history. Knowing different aspects about history and discussing different aspects about history or literature or things in science, chemistry, different perspectives about chemistry or things of that nature. When you kind of have the teacher trying to move around and change their lesson plan because of standardized tests, is kind of missing the point of education. You're not doing that child justice. And it goes along with what I'm seeing now. As another example of what I'm seeing now is going on with the education system. Teachers wanting to use political ideologies, as an excuse to call themselves reaching out to their students. But I think it's very important to understand that you're there to help that child develop their mind, develop their thirst for knowledge. You're not there to, radicalize them and say, well, I take this stance between this person, or I take this stance with this political ideology. Well, you're missing the point, I think. I just think it's very important to understand those boundaries and those lines and not to blur that. And it's a lot of unfortunate things that are going on that I see in society today, of parents having to deal with unnecessary stress that they didn't have to deal with when I was in school. And it's just is very sad because I think it's helping push that whole thing that we're not a community, like the division of community. And that's very unfortunate because you start when I think when a child doesn't have a strong sense of community and they don't know how to say and reach out for help, that's very troubling because they take those things along with them in adulthood, and they think that they're all on their own and they have to do everything on their own, and that they can't relate or understand other individuals, and then people become more polarized, and that's not a good thing. And on the other side of this, on the silver lining of this, I would like to share a personal experience that was another personal experience that was very good for me when I was going through school, particularly middle school. So when I reached the 7th grade, one of my teachers, particularly a reading teacher, and thank you, Miss Parrott, thank you to her. She saw that I had a bit of a learning difficulty, and she was trying to figure out exactly what that was. And then so it was really powerful the way her and other teachers got together, and they realized to say, well, maybe this girl, maybe Mary has dyslexia. And they said, okay, I think that's what's going on with her. Now they always the way that they always approached it and continue to approach it, and I was able to master this and reach my full potential, and I'm so thankful for that because it's opened up so many other doors for me and helped me understand things in such a profound way. They always said that this doesn't define you. You can beat this. You just have to understand and retrain your brain and to meld through it and to understand things differently, and that this is a surplus to you because it challenges you to work harder, to think harder, to make yourself more precise, more clear. And because of that, that work ethic stayed with me, and I'm just greatly appreciative of it. And when that sense of community again comes together to try and do what's best for the child, trying to better the child, try to understand and enlighten that child, it gives so much hope and great meaning and purpose. And I think that's what's really important when and how you should approach education. Which goes to another topic that I am wanting to address. So I grew up in an environment where it was middle to upper class, and so I was fortunate to have a lot of different opportunities when it comes to things as far as education and things as far as curricular activities and all kinds of things of that nature. And even though I was in a public school setting, it was still the best, I think, as far as public school settings, because the teachers were doing all they can to really challenge students. And it was unfortunate that once I went the high school and all the way to the end of high school, it, standardized tests started to become a regular thing. It's out of that, I tried to find the good in that. And even though I was dealing with the lesson plans where, it seemed like at the time tax test was taking tax tests and doing tax prep and all these kind of things in the lesson plan, I wanted to venture out and understand other things as far as learning. Read different books, know different things about philosophy, and I took that amongst myself because I had this perspective that it was important to go beyond what I was being taught. And I had that exposure early on that critical thinking skills are very important, because it's always a thing to where when you're hearing something and you're seeing something and someone is saying something to you and you just take it at face value, it's always a thing to me that I think it's important to say, well, what are they actually saying? What does it actually mean? And let's explore that. Like, what does that mean to me? Is that really true for me? Is that really true what they're saying? Let me understand this. Let me get a grasp of this. And then I think that is liberating and true freedom, because once you understand that mindset, that can really help your mind and your soul and your discipline and help you grow and develop as a person. And I remember when I was in middle school that I had a friend. She went to she was in a school district, and she was went to a school that wasn't so good. And it was sad at the time that she had a aunt that was in the neighborhood that I lived in, and she had to purposely use that aunt, or live with that aunt, in order to go to school, because she wanted the best option for herself. When it should be a thing where children should have the option of where they should go to school. And it's just unfortunate that the public school system kind of set up blocks and set up faults to that, when they should be exploring things to give children choice and to give them reasons of choice. And I was very fortunate to have different choices. And I think once we have those strong conversations and start talking about giving children freedom of choice, that can help develop them and help them see that education is something that's very special, something that can be very creative and very fun and and it can just be rewarding. And going back to, I think it was great what Trump, when he was in office, what he was doing when he was trying to give children those options as far as choice with education. And it was just unfortunate that him trying to do things like that, and other people are trying to do things like that. It just seems like they get demonized for that, and I don't think that's the best way to go, because you, again, as I mentioned in previous podcasts, you tend to skate and go through the slippery slope of developing broken people, and because of that, you have a broken society, and a society that can't develop and think about creative inventions, and think about new ideas, and people who want to not settle for just what is put in front of them, to want a challenge. And I think a lot of amazing things can come out of that. And I think it's just very simple. Children are our future, and that line and of the very popular lyric that Whitney Houston was known for. That's very true, because once you give a child the right direction in life, so many possibilities can happen from that. And once a child doesn't have a sense of direction, so much destruction can happen. And people don't have the courage for change. And I think we have to get ourselves away from that. So, I think that we need to have these really strong conversations, and I think we should understand the real possibilities of what can happen when we have a society that sees education as a thing that can have different options to help the child understand. And another example, for instance, when COVID was happening, so many different realities came from what happens in the public school system, and how things are set up with schools, and how children can learn. And I think that if you wanted to pay attention, it's empowered families and empowered parents to say to themselves, well, maybe I can explore something better for my child. Maybe homeschooling my child is the best option for them, or for my single child. And I think that's a good thing, because it just shed a needed light on how important it is, and how broken it can be in the education system, and then that we just have to come together and do things that can better our community. Well, this is coming toward the end of my show, and I greatly appreciate your time, and I hope you got a lot of understanding and some knowledge from what I was talking about in this particular episode. And I appreciate your time. And again, this was the Harboring Light, and I'm Mary. It's greatly appreciated for your listening.